Alright, welcome back trainers. McBadass here, and I'm going over my second run through the Kingdom Cup tournament. This time around, I did manage to get my hands on a Lucario, so I felt like that helped my odds a bit. And then I also swapped out my Frostlass for a Alolan Ninetales. And I was pretty happy with that swap. I felt like Ninetales did really well, despite being kind of off meta. But yeah, I still didn't do very well, and I also had my first ever tournament battle against Bonechip, which is kind of the beginning of my rivalry with that guy. But anyway, he's a cool dude, and hopefully get him back on the channel at some point to talk about the upcoming Mirror Cup. But in the meantime, we're doing a bit of a flashback, me grinding through all my old footage and stuff. So round one. Going up against OMFG, it's Kesha. Starting off with Ninetales against Altaria, which is a phenomenal matchup for me. Double resisting that Dragon Breath. And then here comes Lucario, which is kind of more problematic for Ninetales, being Ice and Fairy. It still takes neutral damage from fighting type moves. Then we got the Lucario fight, and I don't know. I think one of the main problems that I had in this tournament was just the fact that I really didn't have any tanks at all, which just is a bad plan. Like, this game definitely leans pretty heavily towards Pokemon that are tanky. So if your entire team consists of like Glass Cannon Pokemon or things that can't take hits, you're probably not going to get very far. And I feel like that's probably one of the main things I took away from this tournament, as well as learning that Lapras is still a problem, even with Lucario. Yeah, so going into round two here, started off with Ninetales again, up against the Altaria, which is still a great matchup, so winning that lead. And then swapping into Lucario, burning the shield. And then this time swapped over to Flygon, which is a better answer for Lucario, even though it's pretty squishy. And was not able to get to Dragon Claw or Earthquake because I took too long. And then we got Lucario fight with not an energy advantage. So just taking powered up counters to the face, which sucks. And then get the Shadow Ball off, but he's got a shield still. So coming back in with Ninetales to deal with the Altaria. But it's definitely not enough to handle Lapras, because Lapras is just way too tanky. So, yeah, it doesn't really matter how many Psyshocks I'm able to get off, because, yeah, Lapras is just too strong. And so, I lose round one. Going into round two of the tournament against Wanzo Electro. Felt pretty good about the Ninetales starting matchup. Even though counter is dealing a pretty significant amount of damage, if I can land the Psyshock, which I do, takes out the Blaziken. So, good to go there. And generally speaking, I felt pretty good about Ninetales against Wanzo's entire lineup. Like, he was running lots of dragons and fighting types, both of which lose to Ninetales. So yeah, their Ninetales straight up just burning through 2 Pokemon in a row like a boss. It's pretty good stuff. But yeah, then we got Flygon coming in here with that quick charge Dragon Claw doing work. Yeah, so going into round two, yeah, Flygon was another one that I was really excited to finally get to use. I thought it was going to do better than it did. Like, I don't know, it still does really well, and it has that really quick charge combo. It's the same issue of it not being able to take hits really at all. On the topic of not being able to take hits, how's about that Rock Slide onto Charizard? Oh, man. Points in time when I should have shielded. Fortunately, Flygon can tank those pretty easily because it's got that ground dragon typing. And then Altaria comes in here to Dragon Breath to the face. And then, let's see. Have shields to burn, definitely, with the, well, saving both my shields for Ninetales, really. Get the shield bait, and then Dazzling Gleam for the win. Yeah. It's the one winning match that I actually recorded, because there were 5 rounds in this tournament, and I forgot to record the last round against Kilbish, so... This video pretty much just concludes with me getting my butt kicked by Bonechip, which he was using a really weird off-meta team, but he's still a phenomenal player, so it just kind of didn't work out super well for me. And here we go against Fillin' Kids once again. The Blaziken against Ninetales matchup. Managed to save the Ninetales and swap into Lucario. And I know this is a winning matchup because it's like one of the ones that everybody talks about when they're, well, in all of like the community chatter leading up to the Kingdom Cup. You know, Lucario and Bastiodon were both frequently discussed Pokemon. And then did not get the Psyshock off, so Blaziken gets taken out, and then it's Lapras against Blaziken. Oh, man. Things that make me sad. So, going into round 2 here against Fillin' Kids, and Blaziken against Ninetales again. Just going for that Psyshock, because I don't want to lose the switch advantage. And I know I can burn shields, even if my... what is it? My Ninetales will probably lose this fight. I can either burn both shields or take out the Blaziken, which is, I feel like it's a fair trade. So go ahead and block the Brave Bird, take out the Blaziken, and have my own Brave Bird pretty much ready to go. And get into that Focus Blast to take out the Lapras. And here, this is really frustrating because if I had any shields, I could have won, but I didn't have any shields. So my Lucario just gets power-up punched in the face, and I lose. So here we go. Here's the fabled matchup against Bonechip and his oddball team. Altaria versus Dragonite, I think, is a favorable matchup for me. Then he swaps into Celio, and I know that Lucario can beat the Celio, but unbeknownst to me at the time, this is a trap. And you will see what I'm talking about here in just a second, because Bonechip, being the brilliant madman that he is, set a trap for my Lucario to have to face off against Lucario v Charizard, so he could take it out, because Lucario's easily my most problematic Pokemon for him, so him being able to isolate and take it out like that is where all of his team building was going. But here, in round 1, though, fortunately, getting to those Dragon Claws just super quick. Such a close match. So ridiculous. Alright, so match number 2 against Bonechip. Started with the Flygon lead, because I felt like it did pretty well there at the end with those game-winning Dragon Claws, so figured I'd start things off with that. I'm gonna shield here to preserve a little bit of health so that I can get to another Dragon Claw. Maybe burn the shield. So, and here we have Altaria going in against the Aqua Tail using Dragonair. Did I say Dragonite before? I meant to say Dragonair. So here we go, falling into the Celio trap. Don't really need to block because it resists Yeah, Lucario resists the normal type body slam damage, but Charizard is still a problem. And I, at this point in time, was not super great at learning my lesson when it comes to fighting Bonechip, because Bonechip is very good at this game. So, match number 2, I lose, and we're going to round 3. Started off with Altaria against Charizard, which is favorable for me. He switches into Dragonair, and this is still a favorable matchup. Blocking the Aqua Tail, even though I really didn't need to, probably could have just tanked that. But I don't know. At this point in time, I was kind of in love with my Altaria because it's like a perfect, and I didn't know anything about IVs at that point in time when it comes to PvP. So, and throws in the Charizard. I swap in my own Charizard, which isn't great for me because my Charizard doesn't have very good IVs at all. But I'm able to fire off the Blast Burn, which hurts Celio, being taking neutral damage from it. It's pretty tanky, so it's able to handle it pretty well. But then coming back in here with the Lucario against the weakened Charizard, and I just can't get enough damage in. It's so just agonizing. And yeah, so that's my tournament run. Like I said, there was a 5th round that I went up against Kilbish in, and I did win that fight, but I forgot to record it because I was still getting used to this whole recording your tournament runs thing. That is the worst win-lose ratio that I have had in a tournament throughout my entire Pokemon career. So, yeah. All in all, I personally didn't really like the Kingdom Cup all that much. And it's not just because I didn't do very well. I just felt as though the meta was very focused around Bastiodon and Lucario. And both of those are kind of hard to get your hands on for different reasons. Lucario in particular, you have to hatch it in order to get the Railu. And in order for it to be usable in Great League, you have to trade it and have its stats go down so that it gets underneath the 1400 or 1500. And then Bastiodon, you straight up have to have near perfect IVs, and it has to be almost max level in order to even be usable. And also it costs 75 candy and 75,000 Stardust to get the second charge move for it. So just, I don't know. I felt as though the Kingdom Cup was very... Like, it made the barrier to entry even higher for casual or new players. But again, I also didn't do very well in this tournament, so I'm probably pretty biased in that regard. So anyway, so yeah, that concludes my run through the Kingdom Cup. Yeah, leave a comment, let me know what you thought about my Ninetales. I felt like it did pretty good work in this tournament. Beyond that, y'all can follow me on Facebook, Twitter, all that jazz, or support me on Patreon, much like Sangria does, which is awesome. Thanks again for that. And also, just thanks for watching. Hope you guys stick around, and I'll see you next time.